Senator, I want you to respond to the debate last night and what Mayor Bloomberg is saying this morning. He suggested that Donald Trump won the debate last night, in particular because he said that if someone like you emerges as the nominee, that gives Trump the best chance to win. How would you respond to that?
Right, as opposed to a multi-billionaire like Mr. Bloomberg, who not only initiated these horrific racist policies in New York City of stop and frisk, but who opposed raising the minimum wage, called for the cuts in Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid. If Mr. Bloomberg thinks that is an agenda that it's going to rally the American people, I think he's sorely, sorely mistaken. Look, our agenda and why we think we are the strongest campaign is that we are going to have the largest voter turnout in the history of this country to defeat Donald Trump. That's the simple fact. Our message speaks to working people who, in many instances, have given up on the political process because they don't think anyone is listening to them. Can't afford health care. The wages they're earning are inadequate. They can't afford to send their kids to college. They can't afford childcare. They want an agenda that speaks to them. And that is what I've been doing my entire life. Second of all, we are in a very significant way bringing young people into the political process. And I believe if we can get more young people voting, that will grow the voter turnout, and that is the means by which we defeat Donald Trump. Our campaign is the campaign of energy, excitement. It's a coalition, and I think we are strongest positioned to beat Trump.
So his criticism, and it's not just his criticism, it's from some of your other Democratic opponents, is that your plans, they're big, they're lofty, but that you haven't provided enough specifics as to how you're going to pay for them. Do you think you need to provide more specifics?
Look, when you have three people in America, now I talk about issues that other people don't, but let's put it on the table. We have more income and wealth inequality today than any time in the last 100 years. Mr. Bloomberg himself is worth more as one person than the bottom 125 million Americans. In terms of health care, how are you going to pay for health care? We are spending twice as much as the Canadians and the Europeans who managed to provide health care to all people as a human right. A study just came out the other day from Yale. Moving to a Medicare for all single-payer system saves $450 billion a year because we substantially lower the outrageous prices of prescription drugs, because we do away with the need to administer thousands of separate insurance plans, wasting hundreds of billions of dollars. That is how you do it. But also, when you got three people owning more wealth than the bottom half of America, when you have major corporations like Amazon, owned by the wealthiest guy in America, made $11 billion last year, didn't pay a nickel in federal income taxes. Yes, by taking on the very wealthy, the billionaire class, and large multinational corporations, we can raise the funds to provide the services that will give dignity to working families in America.
So you're in Nevada now, South Carolina's next. These are states that are obviously a lot more diverse than the first two states you competed in. How is your campaign different in 2016 than it is now in reaching out to those communities?
Good questions. We're much more diverse. I mean, that's the simple answer. I can't tell you exactly, but we have hundreds of Latinos and African Americans on our staff right now, reaching out into the Latino and African American community. We have held rallies and meetings in minority communities all over this country. So I think that is the answer, and I think the result is that we are doing well in those communities. We think if we can get a good voter turnout, and that seems to be the case, by the way, here in Nevada. The early voting, is really quite high. If there's a large voter turnout, I think we've got a good shot to win here in Nevada. We're gaining momentum in South Carolina. I think we're closing in on Mr. Biden. Strong support from the African American community there, and I think we have a shot to win there. And by the way, in California, which is also a very, very diverse state, we're running strong.
You've taken some criticism about your transparency as related to your health. The question I have for you is, there are a lot of people that's genuinely concerned about you and your recovery from your heart attack. Can you lend us any insight into how you've changed your behavior as a result of the heart attack and just how you feel in general? How is
I'll tell you how. Follow me around. Within a couple of hours, we're going to try to go out and do some walking. Look, I had a blocked artery, and I had 2 stents put in, which is done about, as I understand it, about 1 million times a year in America. And what I learned is I got to eat better, and I've got to exercise more. And by the way, both of those things are pretty hard on the campaign trail. But we're doing better, and we're just trying to get out and live a little bit healthier lifestyle. But I got to just say that, and I know you follow me around. I mean, on a given day, we may do 3 or 4 events. Thank God I am feeling good and I'm feeling strong. And what the doctors have said is that I have the health and the energy to deal with the very stressful job of being president.
Okay, I want to ask you about President Obama and the role he may play in unifying the Democratic Party. I mean, how often do you talk to him? How important is it for you to earn his endorsement? And what kind of role do you think he'll play ultimately when you get to the general election?
I'm not going to tell you that he and I are best friends, but we're friends. And I have talked to him on and off for the last many years, was sitting down alone with him in the Oval Office on more than one occasion. Talked to him on the telephone every now and then. He is an icon, clearly, in the Democratic Party. And I have absolute confidence that he will play a vigorous role. I mean, I think he has said this in the campaign, and we need him. No question about it. We need him.